Yo everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to another video about Assassin's Creed. So last week I made a video about the things Assassin's Creed has done wrong in the recent games. You can check that out if you want to. There's a link in the description and an annotation on screen. But today I want to talk about the things that the recent games have done right and the things they need to continue and bring into Empire and they need to perfect and add to. So I asked you guys on Twitter for a few ideas. I'm going to be including some of those. I kind of changed them so it's not exact ideas, so I'm not going to include the exact comments and stuff that you guys left on Twitter. But I do appreciate you guys for leaving those comments. It really does help me when I can't think of any ideas, and this was a difficult one, surprisingly. But if you do want to follow me on Twitter, be sure to do that. There's a link in the description. But without further ado, let's hop into this video. The first thing I wanted to point out is that there is a living, breathing city in both Syndicate and Unity. Syndicate more so, it did London absolutely fantastically. The city of London looks great. Unfortunately, there's not really enough to do in the city to keep you immersed, in the sense that there's not really, an assassin hideout other than the train. You can't really interact with much, and there isn't, immersive things like, going into, a pub or, nearby stores and things like that. Just things in the world that you can interact with that don't necessarily have to result in missions, but they're just there for player immersion. I think those are things we need when you have such a living, breathing city. But the city is recreated so well, and hopefully we can see that continue. The fact that they rebuild these landmarks at 1-to-1 scale is incredible. And just imagine in Egypt seeing I don't know, the Sphinx or the Great Pyramids at a 1-to-1 scale. They would be massive, and as well as all these massive things you'd have in cities like Egypt looked awesome. So I think it's really, really awesome that they do that, and I think they need to keep that continuing, especially with somewhere like Egypt, giving us a living, breathing world that feels realistic, but also give us things in the world to interact with to increase our immersion. I think is something we need to have in the next Assassin's Creed game. Black Flag encouraged exploration. There were a lot of collectibles you could get in this world, which kind of encouraged you to explore all these uncharted locations. There might have been too many collectibles, but at least there wasn't as many as Assassin's Creed Rogue. There were plenty of side things to do in the world, and they were all actually very useful. You had, collecting the Mayan seals to get the Mayan armor. You had collecting the various Templar keys to unlock the Templar armor, but to get the keys, it wasn't just a collectible. You had to do these Templar hunt missions, which meant a storyline throughout each one where you had to take out a Templar, and that was an awesome, awesome feature. I'd love to see that return in the next Assassin's Creed game. Having a bunch of side activities spread out across this huge open world that don't necessarily interact with each other or interact with the main story is always awesome. It gives the player downtime to go and check out all these other things the world has to offer that doesn't necessarily have to come into the main story. It can be something the player does. Like in Syndicate, everything that was part of the world kind of just helped Jacob and Evie take over London. Whereas in Unity, you had, the Paris stories, which gave us various missions to be able to complete and explore the world and made it feel more alive by having all of these side activities that were side activities rather than things that were, furthering the main story. They were these side stories, which made it far more awesome than what we got in Syndicate. Unity gave us, that immersive feeling of having all of these various, different stories that were just scattered across the city that had no interaction with each other or the main story, but they were just there to be their own stories, and that's something they need to further in Assassin's Creed Empire. In Assassin's Creed Chronicles, it even gave us more of the cryptic messages. It wasn't much, but there was the various numbers that we found throughout all three Chronicles games. When entered, we finally got a cutscene of the modern day, which was really awesome. Now, it was the closest thing we've had to the truth in a long time, but it really wasn't close enough. So I think in the next game, we really need to get things like that with the cryptic messages and numbers, something that we can decrypt as a community that might take a while and is kind of difficult, but gives us a big reward at the end. I think those things about Assassin's Creed make it fantastic. I've done a whole video on that you can check out on my channel, but I think it's really, really awesome that they gave us that in Chronicles. Wasn't really a huge payoff or anything like that, but I think it's a step in the right direction, and hopefully we get more of these cryptic messages in the future. The last thing I have is the parkour up and parkour down system makes everything so much more precise. It allows way more player control about how the assassin moves through the world and makes everything far more easier instead of, getting stuck on things, accidentally climbing, accidentally falling off buildings. It makes it far more easier. I think maybe in Syndicate, it was a bit too rigid. I think Unity might have done it a little bit better, but hopefully we've had a long time to perfect this, and it will feel a lot better in the next Assassin's Creed game, and won't have too many problems, but we'll take everything that was good from it and make it even better. So thank you guys for watching this video. It's kind of a short one today. I do hope you guys enjoyed, though I might come out with a little discussion video tomorrow talking about something. I'm not entirely sure what yet, but do leave your recommendations in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up because that would be really, really awesome. Subscribe if you haven't already to help me hit 20k because we are closing on it every single day now and it's absolutely awesome. Thank you guys for the continued support and I will see you all next time. Bye!
And the wolves kept tumbling down, raining fire from above. Great crowds charge over the hills, but these cities had enough. But if we turn and fight, does it all